Shit. Okay then. Hello everybody, my name is Delzar Slit, and today we're going to be doing a reaction video to Fiona and Cake, episodes 3 and 4. So, this is a review, analysis. Basically, he's going through everything. If there's going to be spoilers here, you need to run the fuck away and avoid them if you don't want them. Because otherwise, you're getting shy. Okay? Sorry. You can't avoid them if you decide to watch this video. Anyways, let's get into it. Wait, Jake isn't dead yet? Hey!
You already read the title of this video and know what you're getting into, so let's skip past the regular YouTube intro stuff and just get into the 2 episodes of Fionna and Cake we
Yeah!
got last week and discuss whether or not they managed to properly follow up on the phenomenal premiere.
Cake the cat.
Just like the last 2 episodes, Cake the Cat opens up to a bit of a non sequitur from the
What?
last one, as we get to see some alternate universe Finn and Jake, where Finn simultaneously has a memorial tattoo and a living sidekick. Well,
So I know that this is alternate universe, but I like the idea of getting more Jake. So fuck you. I'm going to call this the real universe unless they clearly make it stated. Because I want more living Jake. Okay, I know it's copium, but I don't care.
this scene doesn't do much story-wise besides introducing Prismo into the episode. It does give us a nice moment to see Finn and Jake hanging out
Prismo?
and even using the Jake suit, even if they aren't exactly our Finn and Jake. It's a
Yeah.
very sweet scene, especially when the boys just talk after the fight, and it's nice to see what the pair might have looked like 10 years after the finale if Jake hadn't passed. We'll get back to Prismo.
Is it confirmed that's how long it took? Let me fucking have escapism.
When he becomes more of a focal point in the next episode, but for now we get a little bit of A plot, B plot, and kind of a C plot for the first time in the series, as we take turns following our 3 protagonists. And where the first 2 episodes really thrived because they were able to spend 22 minutes on a single story, this episode definitely feels the least interesting of the 3, partially because it had to split its runtime, and because the least interesting plot, Cake's Adventures in gets the most time, while the other 2 plots are fairly limited in their scope. I'm getting a little ahead of myself though, as after we see the ending of the first episode from a different perspective, we actually stay in gender bent non magical for a moment as we get to meet the Ice Queen, who of course sells ice cream. After a
That
hilarious
actually makes a
scene
lot
with
of sense.
Fionna somewhat not really accidentally kicking a 50-something-year-old in the gut, we get to watch Cake
God
somewhat not
damn.
really accidentally torment a different 50-something-year-old back in as the
Mm-hmm.
animal speech caller from the first episode allows her to finally be characterized a bit. I really like how they utilize different cat mannerisms even after she gains the ability to speak,
She's
and
still a
watching
cat.
Simon just be absolutely gutted by a living reminder of Ice King's writings is simultaneously hilarious and pretty depressing. I think the biggest indicator of the latter comes as Cake is freed by Astrid, as while almost every other cartoon character would of course chase after the mysterious interdimensional cat
Mm-hmm.
that just came out of their head, Simon just lets it go, as his hopes for normalcy continue to be dashed. While the
Yeah.
3 plots go back and
He
forth for
he
the
doesn't
rest
have that. Yeah, actually, now I think about it, letting one of his fucking things in there just leave, it doesn't make any sense for him to actually go and chase it at all.
episode, I'm just going to focus on one at a time, starting with what Cake's got going on. Since she was fittingly silent in her first appearance, this episode takes to giving Cake a massive amount of characterization in her title episode. And while I
Nice.
love how they tie that in with a pretty massive reference to Up a Tree, the plot does feel pretty boring at times. A lot of the enjoyment of the
Mm-hmm.
scene comes from the initial reveals of, oh, that's the squirrel from that episode,
Hmm.
and oh, there's everybody else from the tree, while Cake has a series
Oh
of
God.
jokes that range from somewhat funny to pretty dull. While Cake as a character has always
God.
struggled as the gender bent version that clearly changes the most from their base character, she's just not quite an interesting enough character to carry this long of a scene.
So we know that they don't have shape-shifting powers currently. Could we get something else for them? I feel like super speed or invisibility, teleportation, something else would be cool just to give them a different feel. Did I say feel? I meant feel. You know what the fuck I meant. Sorry.
I don't want to give the impression that this part of the episode is awful or anything,
Or
but
if
in
they just
comparison
learn
to
how
the
to fight
nearly
normally,
impossibly great
it'd be cool.
first 44 minutes of the show, it's hard to get excited over a plot line that feels like it could happen with a dozen different characters. Cake talking
True.
about not needing Fionna somewhat rubs me the wrong way too, as I feel like the show doesn't know whether or not to lean into the character's attitude or into her and Fiona's friendship, so they try to do both for a little bit. Anyway,
Mm.
enough negativity, as the episode does pick up a bit once Cake makes it into the market and gets back to her normal
Hmm.
size, as we get another Rebecca Sugar song, which makes for a really fun scene as Cake loses any
Ooh.
sense of goodwill she had with the people. While it's a little bit uncomfortably bloody at times, as Cake seems to have to scratch everybody that she's near throughout this entire episode, it still makes for a fun scene that's
She's
ended with what might be my favorite joke of the series.
actually now that I think about it. How old is Cake? Because if we really want to make the Cake is just gender bit Jake, how old is Cake? Because if Cake is in the age in which Jake was still robbing people and fucking them up, it would make a lot of interesting sense if we had basically a young Jake, older Finn situation, where really calm and hopeful Fiona, meanwhile Cake is still rambunctious and rebellious.
Series up to this point.
Get big!
What? I'm not listening to this shit. Wait for the ad to run out. A one and a two and a.
Overall, while the extended callback to a seemingly random episode is initially really fun in this one, this
Mm-hmm.
is the first section of the series that feels like it has no big reveals or interesting character moments, and thus feels like it slows down the show somewhat unnecessarily. Fortunately, that really isn't the case with the other two plots in this episode, as Fiona
Mm.
looking for Cake is filled with some actually heartfelt scenes that are broken up with some great gags, like Fiona interrupting LSP and Marshall to guzzle down some wine. I like how they use
Yeah.
Marshall, LSP, and eventually Gary in this episode, as they all do a good
Gary?
job
Who the
being
fuck is
supporting
Gary?
characters while not taking up much time themselves.
Oh.
As all of the very limited time for this plot is spent showcasing how
I forget
wrecked
things
Fiona
easily, okay?
becomes once Cake disappears, spending all night putting up posters and looking for her pal. This is the last we get to see of the character before magic is reintroduced into her life, and it's a nice goodbye to the bee and puppy cat aspect of
Mm-hmm.
her character to watch her down a latte and seemingly shake off missing an entire night of sleep before Simon shenanigans allow her to follow her puppy cat into Ew. We'll get back to her in a second, but first, let's talk a bit about Simon in this one, as
Mm-hmm.
despite having even less screen time, his desperation as he tries one last attempt to talk to Betty, and his manic ramblings as Fiona comes out of his head at the end of the second seance,
God
again
damn.
toes the line between hilarity
She can't go back, can she?
and just being pretty depressing.
My last chance.
Perhaps a bit more towards depressing, as Tom Kenny continues to
Yep.
deliver an impossibly fantastic performance, which leads well into his indifference in the following episode. I do somewhat wish we got a little bit more Simon in this
Mm-hmm.
one, but his reaction to his seemingly last chance to see Betty being squandered is mostly saved for the time room. Moving
God
on, after
damn.
showing a twinge of concern, Fiona bails outside and meets Astrid, the previously unnamed FNC fan from the last episode, who obviously
Hmm.
doesn't believe that it's actually Fiona. Speaking about Astrid for a second, her appearance in this episode is pretty
Hmm.
short, and while a brand new little kid character threatens to be a not so stellar part of the show, her
Come on
character is so
now.
charming that it's hard not to like her. And while it is a fun scene with Fiona discovering the magic world that she's been transported into and traveling across it with Astrid, the highlight of the episode has to be both Fiona's joy at discovering that Kate can talk.
This place is nuts!
Oh my god, this is one of my top 3 fantasies.
And the
What?
subsequent ass kicking of the Adventure Timey goofy denizens in her way, with the episode ending
Bitch.
with the pair being familiarly poofed away. I
What?
like Fiona showing some sense of heroism even before she discovers her past, and it's just so funny to watch her bonk the completely unthreatening people of the market.
Yes.
Overall, while it is the weakest of the first 4 episodes of the show,
Come
Katie
on
the
now.
Cat is still a
This
pretty
is pretty
solidly
chill.
comedic episode that has some fun Fionna and some beautifully devastating Simon scenes that break up the
By the way, I know I'm spoiling the show for myself, but I do plan to watch this eventually once it's all done for the entire season. I'm just gonna binge watch it on my own time. But until then, we're just gonna go to AmpleSamuel because fuck yeah, this is a really cool channel.
somewhat monotonous cake stuff as the series progresses towards more interesting plot points.
Huh.
Prisma the
Should I
Wishmaster.
just copy Finn and Jake?
Following a trend of its predecessors, Prismo the Wishmaster opens up once again to a mysterious scene, this time taking us back to the Drift from BMO's Distant Land
What?
special, so we can meet our antagonist for the series, Scarab, who's basically a cop for immortal beings. The character being introduced in this bounty hunter-esque scene does a great job in both quickly illustrating the threat this guy brings, while also adding
What?
tension to
What
the
the?
exposition dump that's coming up. I also like getting to see Martin's mugshot here, as it contrasts
Mm-hmm.
Minerva's attempts to help Cake in the previous episode to further show the difference between Finn's parents. After the title
Mm-hmm.
card, we get to catch up with Prismo, and less excitingly Wyatt. But luckily, the latter is pretty quickly cosmically punished into silent movie hell, which is a great first joke for the episode,
Yes.
complete with a great Tree Trunks tribute and somewhat creepy Lich
Oh my
King. Back to the Wish.
Sorry, my room's hella dark. It's creepy as fuck, and I just saw a picture of the Lich. Every part of my heart and soul just left my chest. For those who are watching this in the original video, I'm not sure if you can even tell in my video, but you can see the Lich in the corner of that video, and I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Go fuck yourself. Get the hell off my screen.
Master. While the whole VA debacle is definitely unfortunate for all parties, besides a slight voice change, Prismo feels like he's never really skipped a beat. The writing for the
Mm-hmm.
character is as tight as ever, and even though he's definitely gone through some stuff since we've seen him last, it still
Yeah.
feels like old school Prismo is back. A fittingly quick and mysterious look at Huntress Wizard
Prisma was
and
actually really
Fionna and
chill
Cake
in the
are
original series
transported
too.
to the time room where
I
they'll
actually liked
spend
him.
the vast majority of this episode, where Prismo pretty quickly transforms them back to their familiar selves,
What?
stretchy cake and all. I really do love this scene, as Fiona's disappointment at just being a human in simpler clothing while Kate gets superpowers is great. A few depressed Simon ass cheeks later, and the whole gang for the series is together for the first time, and the
What?
exposition dump begins. While there is a ton of information in this fairly short scene, as Prismo explains that he was the one who created the Fionna and Cake world and placed it in Ice King's head, and that it had magic until Simon didn't, it's broken down with
Oh.
a variety of things that makes it a still immensely enjoyable scene. From simple stuff like getting to see a bunch of characters,
Mm-hmm.
including a pretty rough recasting of Lemongrab, and a
Oh.
bunch of different
What the fuck did they do to
multiverses,
Reek
including
Lemongrab?
Flapjack, which was a pretty big shock.
Oh.
But what really carries the scene is the
Well, how the fuck you bring back Flapjack and also... Okay, I just remembered everything about what Flapjack was, and I was gonna say, what does Flapjack have to do with fucking Adventure Time? And then I remembered, you know what? Flapjack very much fits the Adventure Time style in terms of just crazy, rampant, what the fuckiness. Yeah, yeah, it does. Oh, shit.
combination of just Simon lazing around and drinking Prismo's beer, as well as the clash between the feisty Fionna and the low-key Prismo.
Who do you think you are, you big bully?
Prismo the Wishmaster.
That tells me nothing!
All 4 of these characters work really well comedically, but that doesn't stop this episode from having some pretty gutting moments. My favorite of
Mm-hmm.
which being this fantastic shot of Simon being forced to watch Betty sacrifice again, as the
What?
music combines with Simon's expressions of genuine heartbreak to reinterpret this scene from the finale to somehow be even more gut-wrenching.
What the
Speaking
fuck?
of Simon in this episode,
There's a
he's
reason why I
pretty
literally
much just a
boycott
lump of
watching that
depression
episode.
throughout
I
this
know
one,
everything that
as
happens. I
he
just
moans and
refuse to watch
groans
it
his way
myself.
through the plot,
Because
as
it's
he has
trauma.
seemingly given
I
up
don't need
on
that.
trying to get Betty back, and thus concludes that he has nothing to live for. At this point, Scarab comes into the time room and forces the gang into the basement, and after a
What?
quick mention of Prismo's boss, Fionna gets one last new design as
Wait,
her
Prisma has a
skirt is
boss?
swapped out for shorts. Besides giving us another opportunity to see Simon's behind, I think this was a good move for not only in-universe adventuring practicality, as well as likely being easier to animate, but also to differentiate Fionna a little bit more than just being Girl Finn, especially since she's changed back into her Finn-inspired outfit. Moving
Yeah.
on, besides just
Honestly, I kind of liked Fiona's original outfit more, just because it feels so cool to me to have. Just like, fuck it. Yeah, I'm not from this world at all. I am a completely different person. Although I do like seeing this design as well.
being the best this episode ever looks, the environment of the Time Core is such a cool place for the group to
Whoa.
go through on their way to Old Man Prismo's place of slumber, and I can't wait for how they tie that into the rest of the
Old
series.
Man
Speaking
Prismo?
of Old Man Prismo, once we get to him and Prismo reveals his plan to send them back, the episode definitely starts to pick up in pace as our Prismo count continues to grow.
I saw the design of this building. This is a globe room. What the fuck are we getting towards?
Scarab angrily smashing Prismo's pickles is hilarious, and I love how Fionna and Cake have this long conversation about making their own path and finding out who they really
Mm-hmm.
are before the hallway they were running through reveals to just loop around back to where they came from.
Yep.
Now
I I'm skipping the episode. Not skipping episode, skipping the ad. Don't know what it was. Didn't care. Didn't look.
What's up?
Fionna and Cake having to tearfully get Simon to help them
Mm-hmm.
save their world makes for a great scene that seems to be heading in the direction of Simon realizing that his
Also, I don't want to say it, but there's definitely going to be a Betty in the alternate world, isn't there? And she has no reason to fucking deal with this man.
life does have purpose before that hope is dashed by the ending. Before then, though, we get some really nice stuff after the pair is transported away with Fionna and Cake in the cornfield.
Wait, no, it wouldn't be Betty. It'd be someone else, huh? Also, is that fucking okay? So stretchy powers is so interesting, but what the fuck, man? You made me actually like this a lot more. This nostalgia, I might have to actually watch this before the series ends, and I can't just binge watch it
And besides just the great
then. Dun,
joke of Cake
dun.
becoming a UFO,
Yeah,
it's
the
just a
UFO
cute,
cake.
first, somewhat chill moment between the pair. But of course, the memorable part of this final scene is Simon's declaration of his plans to find another crown and become Ice King once again. This moment is one that felt inevitable in this show, while also feeling
No.
like a sucker punch out of nowhere, as
Why
Simon
would you do
essentially
this
wants to
again?
once again give up his sanity to protect somebody else. With the context of this ending, everything in this episode before this point feels like it's
No.
prepping Simon to make this decision.
No.
And after Prismo forces
You
him
don't
to
fucking do
rewatch
this.
Betty's sacrifice, instead of taking that as a reason to continue living as Simon, as that's what Betty essentially died for, he instead wants to use his life to sacrifice for somebody else. Obviously, this moment is going to be expanded upon as soon as episode 5, but it
But
still makes for
Jesus,
such an
no.
impactful ending
I hate
here.
this.
And overall, that's the theme for this episode. As while it does have some great scenes like Simon watching Betty sacrifice and Fionna stumbling her way into getting shorts, it's
Mm-hmm.
by and large about setting up the more complicated parts of the plot for the next 6 episodes. While I'm not sure I like this one more than either of the first two, this one still delivered satisfying answers and cliffhangery questions like it should, gave us a chance to get reacquainted with a slightly changed Prismo, and nicely sets up Simon's arc and the general plot points for the rest of the series. Great episode that continues to build this show's legacy as a worthy follow-up to one of my favorite series of all time. Anyway, that's about it for me. Thank you so much for the outrageous amount of support on
Sorry,
the
I didn't have
first
a lot of
episode
things to say here, but I said
analysis.
something.
It definitely helps me know that I made the right decision in covering the series weekly. If you want to see me
Yes.
tweet more about the show in between
I want you to like
episodes,
this
you
video. I
can
want you to
find
go
me
out
on
to the
Twitter's
original. Please get
Corpse.
out there.
But
It's
either
fucking
way, this has
beautiful.
been AmpleSamuel, and I'll see you in about a week to cover episodes 5 and 6. Thanks for watching.
Everybody, I want y'all to do more with this series. It's fucking fire. Anyways, bye bye. Wait, no. Like, subscribe, do all that shit. And then also, bye bye.